You have felt it, haven't you? That subtle shift in the air when you mention a win. You walk into a room after a breakthrough, expecting a shared spark, but you are met with a cold, hollow silence. It's not an open attack. It's the way their eyes dart away, the passive-aggressive edge in a congratulations that feels more like a curse. You start to doubt yourself, wondering if you've become arrogant, but the truth is far more visceral. Your evolution has become a mirror they never asked to look into. Every step you take toward your potential is a silent indictment of their stagnation. They don't hate you. They hate the reminder of what they refuse to become. It is time you stopped apologizing for your light and started understanding the biological threat your growth poses to the small-minded. People who live in constant internal conflict cannot stand to witness your calm. To them, your stillness is not just a trait, it is a direct provocation. They thrive on drama, on the frantic exchange of nervous energy, and the desperate need for external noise to drown out their own misery. When you refuse to join their frantic dance, you expose their instability. They throw bait, a sharp comment, a manufactured crisis, a bit of toxic gossip, waiting for you to bite. Your refusal to react is perceived as an act of war because it denies them the validation of their own chaos. By remaining unmoved, you become the unyielding wall against which their desperation shatters, leaving them alone with the very noise they vow. We're trying to escape through you. Evolutionarily, being the calmest person in the room was a sign of dominant survival potential. Yet today, it triggers a deep-seated insecurity in the collective. Historically, the most dangerous individuals weren't those who shouted, but those who looked at the storm and didn't blink. When you build this mental wall, you are creating a sanctuary that no one can enter without your permission. Others expect you to be as fragile as they are, to be swayed by the winds of opinion or the temporary weight of a bad day. When they see that your foundation is built on something deeper than the surface of the earth, they realize you are playing a game they don't even know the rules to. Your serenity becomes a haunting reminder that their own lack of control is a choice they make every single morning. You must understand that this peace is not a gift. It is a craft forged in the fires of self-discipline. It does not depend on the number in your bank account or the hollow praise of a digital crowd. It is the result of choosing to master your internal landscape before you ever attempt to conquer the world outside. When you decide that no external event is worth the price of your tranquility, you become truly invincible. This is your unbreakable fortress. Let them scream at the gates. Let them try to scale the walls with their petty grievances. Your silence is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate demonstration of power. You are the architect of your own sanctuary, and as long as you remain centered, their negativity will continue to dissolve into nothingness before it ever reaches your heart. You live in a world that is obsessed with the concept of fitting in, a society that rewards those who blend into the gray background of mediocrity. In this environment, your decision to be unapologetically yourself is a direct affront to the status quo. When you stop asking for permission to follow your own path, you are essentially telling everyone else that their rules no longer apply to you. This freedom is terrifying to those who have spent their entire lives trapped in the cage of social expectations. They watch you dress how you like, speak with conviction, and pursue interests that don't serve the collective narrative, and it burns them. They don't see your authenticity as a virtue. They see it as a threat to the invisible chains they have grown to love because they are too afraid to break them. This is the high cost of living without seeking approval from the masses. Every time you act according to your own internal compass, you highlight the cowardice of those around you. They are paralyzed by the haunting question of what will they say, while you move forward as if the audience doesn't even exist. This psychological dynamic creates a visceral tension. Your courage is a glaring spotlight on their fear. Throughout history, the individual who dared to stand apart from the tribe was often viewed with suspicion, not because they were wrong, but because they proved that the tribe's consensus was not absolute truth. By daring to be a unique entity, you are shattering their illusion of safety. You are showing them that the walls they fear are made of paper, and for that, they may never truly forgive you. Your superpower is the art of selective indifference. You must realize that you do not need their validation to feel whole, and in that realization you strip them of every ounce of power they think they hold over you. You are becoming immune to the subtle art of social manipulation. When they realize that their cold shoulders or whispered judgments don't move the needle of your self-esteem, they will become desperate. But you must remain steadfast. This is about protecting your energy and recognizing that your life belongs to you alone. Mastery over your inner world means that you are the only one with the keys to your happiness. Let your results and your character be your only defense. By choosing your own direction without apology, you aren't just living. You are leading by example, whether they choose to follow or not. You must realize that information is the currency of the envious. They are starving for details about your next move so they can find a way to minimize it, mock it, or prepare their own excuses for why you succeeded where they failed. When you share your plans, you are essentially giving your critics the blueprints to your future house just so they can burn it down before the first brick is laid. By talking too much, you dissipate the internal pressure needed to actually do the work. You trade the long-term satisfaction of achievement for the short-term dopamine of social approval. This transparency is a leak in your power, allowing the energy of your ambition to evaporate into the thin air of conversation instead of fog, being channeled into real, tangible action. The history of dominance is written by those who moved in the shadows until the very moment of victory. In biological terms, a predator that announces its presence never eats. Silence creates an information vacuum that forces your detractors to invent their own narratives. And while they are busy speculating, you are busy building. They expect you to be loud because they are loud. They equate noise with importance. When you choose to be silent, you become an enigma. They cannot calculate your trajectory or sabotage your momentum because they don't even know you have started. This strategic ambiguity is not just about privacy. It is about maintaining a tactical advantage that keeps your competition reacting to your past while you are already living in your future. Stop looking for the applause of people who want to see you fail. Your silence is a declaration of self-sufficiency. It proves that you do not need the world to witness your struggle to validate your effort. When you finally emerge with the completed project, the mastered skill or the transformed physique, it hits them with the force of a tidal wave because they never saw the tide coming in. This is the ultimate power move, leaving them weaponless. They cannot wish you ill or undermine your confidence if they do not know what you are working on. Let your results be the only noise you make. In a world of loud talkers and empty promises, the person who executes in total silence is the one who eventually owns the room without saying a single word. Small, consistent progress is nearly invisible to the untrained eye, but it is absolute torture for the stagnant observer. Those who refuse to move are always looking for a lightning strike, a sudden stroke of luck, or a quantum leap that justifies their own lack of effort. They want to believe that success is a lottery because that means they are not to blame for their empty hands. When they see you improving by just 1% every single day, it destroys their primary coping mechanism. They cannot call it luck when they see the compounding interest of your discipline, your daily 10 pages, your early morning runs, and your relentless focus on the basics are constant reminders of the excuses they make every time they choose comfort over the grind. Psychologically, the human brain is wired to notice dramatic changes, but it is the slow, grinding evolution that truly transforms a species. Historically, the greatest fortresses were not built in a day. They were the result of laying one perfect stone after another until that structure was impenetrable. The stagnant person hates this process because they lack the temperament for the long game. They want the crown without the sweat, the harvest without the planting. Every time you show up and do the work when you do not feel like it, you are widening the gap between you and the rest of the world. This gap eventually becomes a chasm that no amount of luck can bridge it. Your consistency is a mirror that reflects their own inconsistency back at them, and that reflection is unbearable. You must fall in love with the boredom of the process. The 1% mindset is your secret weapon because it is sustainable while everyone else is chasing burnout. You are not trying to move mountains in a single afternoon. You are simply refusing to stay still. While others are waiting for the perfect moment of motivation, you are moving forward with the cold, mechanical precision of a clock. This compound growth will eventually make you unrecognizable to those who knew you a year ago. Do not settle for the mediocrity of the crowd. Every small step you take is a vote for the person you are becoming. Let the stagnant complain about the unfairness of life, while you continue to stack your wins in the dark. Your discipline is the only proof you need that you are destined for more. You see them everywhere, trying to manufacture an aura of importance through expensive toys, loud declarations, and calculated gestures. They think charisma is a costume they can put on in the morning to hide the hollowness within. But you know better. True energy cannot be faked because it is rooted in the deep, unyielding soil of character. When you walk into a room, people don't just see what you have. They feel who you are. The envious are baffled by this. They try to copy your walk, your tone, or your style, yet they remain invisible. They don't realize that your presence is the byproduct of every hard choice you made when no one was watching. Their superficiality is a loud scream for attention, while your grounded nature is a silent command for respect that they simply cannot replicate no matter how hard they try. Throughout human history, true dominance has never belonged to the loudest or the most aggressive, but to those with the highest degree of emotional regulation. This is the psychological mechanism of the individual who doesn't need to snarl. When others are losing their minds over trifles, your steady hand on the wheel becomes a beacon. Evolutionarily, we are hardwired to look toward the person who remains calm in the face of a predator. By cultivating this internal weight, you are tapping into a primal form of leadership that bypasses the modern clutter of status games. While the envious are chasing the shadow of influence, you are becoming the substance. They are playing a game of mirrors, unaware that you have already stepped out of the hall and into the light of reality where only genuine strength survives the test of time. You must understand that your character is the only asset that cannot be taken, taxed, or imitated. This is where your true psychological dominance lies. You don't need to win every conversation or prove your worth to strangers. Your existence is the proof. Focus on building a healthy mindset that treats everyone with respect, but bows to no one. When you operate from a place of genuine self-confidence, you attract quality people who are drawn to your clarity. The envious will continue to struggle trying to hack their way into the hearts of others, but you know that there are no shortcuts to a solid soul. Keep refining your inner world. Every time you choose integrity over ease, you are adding another layer of armor to your energy. You aren't just faking a vibe. You are becoming the standard that others will eventually use to measure their own lack of substance. There is a dark, hidden corner in the minds of those who resent you where they keep a tally of your potential failures. When you stumble, they feel a momentary surge of relief, a validation that you are just as flawed and fragile as they are. They celebrate your setbacks in silence, waiting for the moment you finally quit, complain, or play the victim. They want to see you broken because your struggle makes their own stagnation feel more comfortable. But you have a secret they will never understand. You don't view failure as a destination or a mark of shame. To you, a setback is nothing more than a high-quality data point. Every time you fall, you are actually collecting the very materials you need to build a higher pedestal. Your refusal to be defeated is the greatest disappointment you can ever hand to those who are praying for your downfall. This resilience is a visceral psychological shield that turns their hope for your destruction into their own frustration. Historically, the most formidable figures were those who treated the battlefield as a laboratory. They didn't see an obstacle as a wall, but as a forge. When you get up, analyze your mistakes with surgical precision, and return to the fray. You are demonstrating a level of mental toughness that the average person finds terrifying. You are showing them that your destiny is not defined by external circumstances, but by the strength of your internal forge. While they use their problems as convenient excuses to stay exactly where they are, you are using yours as stepping stones to reach heights they can't even see. Your ability to transmute the lead of failure into the gold of experience is a form of alchemy that leaves the small-minded paralyzed in their own fear. You must learn to embrace the fire. Do not give them the satisfaction of seeing you bleed, or hearing you moan about the unfairness of the world. Instead, take the lesson, adjust your strategy, and return to the battlefield stronger than you were before the blow landed. This is how you develop a character of steel, Resilience is not about never falling. It is about the speed and intensity of your rise. When you treat every difficulty as a necessary part of your training, you become an unstoppable force. The envious will eventually grow tired of waiting for your collapse. They will realize that their negativity has no power over a mind that sees every no as a not yet. Let your scars be the map of your victories. Use their doubt as the very fuel that keeps your engine running through the coldest nights. You are building something that can never burn down. You are surrounded by people who operate from a place of chronic scarcity, trapped in a cycle of more that never ends. They believe that happiness is a distant destination, a prize they will finally earn once they acquire the right car, the right partner, or the right title. Because they live in this state of perpetual lack, your ability to be satisfied right now is an absolute mystery to them. When they see you finding genuine joy in the simple act of drinking a coffee or engaging in a deep conversation, it feels like a personal insult. They cannot comprehend how you can be so at peace without having the external trophies they are killing themselves to obtain. Your gratitude exposes the hollowness of their pursuit, showing them that their hunger is not a result of what they lack, but a symptom of a soul that has forgotten how to be present. This capacity for appreciation is a psychological weapon because it makes you impossible to manipulate through envy or greed. Historically, those who were most easily controlled were those who felt they were missing something essential. By choosing to operate from abundance, you are opting out of the zero-sum game that most people are playing. The envious person views the world as a pie where your slice makes theirs smaller, but your grateful mind sees an infinite landscape where your joy is independent of their possession. This detachment is terrifying to the small-minded because it proves that you have found a source of power that doesn't rely on the externally world. You are not waiting for a perfect life to start living. You are living so deeply in the present that the concept of a perfect future becomes irrelevant. You must practice what can only be described as aggressive gratitude, a fierce daily commitment to recognizing the value of what you already have while you continue to work for what you want. This is not about settling for less. It is about refusing to let the search for more poison your now. When you find joy in the mundane, you become immune to the scarcity tactics of modern society. You no longer feel the need to compete for status or symbols because you have already won the only race that matters, the mastery of your own perspective. Let the envious remain trapped in their if-then loops while you move through life with the quiet confidence of someone who is already full. Your happiness is a choice you make every morning, and in making that choice, you become a beacon of abundance in a world that is starving for it. There is a specific kind of freedom that comes when you stop checking the room for approval after you achieve something great. Most people are addicted to the digital like or the public pat on the back, turning their success into a performance for an audience that doesn't truly care about them. They feel that if a win wasn't witnessed, it didn't actually happen. But you are different. You have realized that the most profound victories are the ones that happen in the quiet moments of your own life, far away from the noise of social media or the gossip of the crowd. When you reach a goal and feel no urge to rub it in anyone's face, you are demonstrating a level of self-sufficiency that most people find completely bewildering. You are winning for yourself, not for the vanity of being seen winning. This detachment from external applause is a true demonstration of power, because it shows that your self-esteem is not for sale. In the social hierarchy, the person who needs the least from others is the person who has the most control. Those who live by appearances are constantly at the mercy of the crowd's changing whims, their moods fluctuating with every comment or silence. By celebrating your victories in private, you are protecting the sanctity of your progress from the toxic energy of envy. Throughout history, the most resilient individuals were those who sought the approval of their own conscience, rather than the roar of the fool. Colosseum. Your silent success is proof that your internal world is solid enough to support you without the need for external scaffolding or the validation of people who are still struggling to find themselves. You must learn to find your greatest satisfaction in the work itself and the person you become through the process. When you stop looking for the applause, you stop being a slave to the audience. Your success is no longer a tool for social manipulation. or a way to feel superior to others. It is a private conversation between you and your potential. Let the envious wonder why you don't seek their recognition. Let them be confused by your lack of ego-driven display. Your worth is an objective fact that you carry within you, not a variable that depends on a like count. Focus on building a life that feels good on the inside, rather than one that just looks good on the outside. In the end, the invisible victory is the only one that truly lasts, because it is the only one they can never take away from you. You have likely noticed that those who live by envy are never truly alone, yet they are perpetually lonely. They surround themselves with superficial alliances based on mutual convenience or shared resentment. To them, a relationship is not a bond. It is a transaction of status or a way to distribute their own misery. When they look at your life, they are shocked to see a circle of individuals who genuinely celebrate your wins as if they were their own. They don't understand loyalty because they only understand utility. You must realize that every person you allow into your inner sanctum either feeds your fire or pours water on it. If you continue to harbor those who secretly pray for your downfall, you are effectively poisoning your own well and wondering why you feel sick. Historically, the strength of an individual was inseparable from the quality of their tribe. In tribal survival, a single weak link or a traitor could lead to the destruction of the entire group. Today, that betrayal is psychological. When you allow toxic voices to have a seat at your table, you are giving them permission to whisper doubts into your ear when you are you're most vulnerable. Envious people view your boundaries as an act of arrogance, but in reality, it is simple self-care. They prefer a world of shallow competition where everyone is as miserable as they are. By maintaining a high standard for who gets to walk beside you, you are protecting the evolutionary advantage of a healthy social environment. True loyalty is a rare currency that the small-minded can never afford to spend. It is time to audit your social circle with a cold and merciless eye. This is not about being cruel. It is about the radical necessity of protecting your internal flame. You must have the courage to remove those who drain your energy and replace them with a tribe that challenges you to ascend. Your circle should be a fortress of mutual respect and shared growth, not a bucket of crabs pulling each other down. When you cut ties with the toxic, do not apologize and do not look back. You are reclaiming your energy and your peace. Surround yourself with those whose own success does not feel like a threat to yours, and whose presence acts as a catalyst for your potential. Protecting your inner world is your highest responsibility, and it begins with choosing who has the right to influence it. As we have explored today, your growth is not an attack, but it will always feel like one to those who refuse to move. You now possess the blueprint to build an internal world that is immune to the noise of the external world. Your inner peace is your shield, your silent progress is your weapon, and your resilience is the engine that will carry you toward your highest self. Do not let the discomfort of others slow your pace. Remember, their envy is not a reflection of your flaws. It is a detailed map of their own deficiencies. Keep building in silence. If this message has resonated with you, support this channel by subscribing and hitting the bell. Let me know in the comments which of these 9 attitudes you will implement first. Your participation helps this entire community grow stronger.